the Clay Township Planning Commission meeting to order at 7 o'clock on the dot. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call. Have a roll call.
Mark Bouchard.
Absent, excused.
Chris O'Tunan.
Here.
Christine Holcomb.
Absent, excused.
Robert Muesling here. Wayne Torno.
Absent, excused.
Margie Ferris. is
Absent, excused.
And Kathy Schweikart is
Absent, excused. All right, so by the looks of it, we do not have a quorum. So with that being said, any items that are actionable and public hearings will be postponed until the February 26th board meeting. Because we don't have a quorum, we cannot make any decisions or vote on anything. So all those items are going to be moved. New notices will be sent out. Everything will be I guess essentially reset because of the lack of quorum. We had to have a meeting and publicly postpone those items until February. So with that being said, we'll jump to planning consultant report, and she is not here because she is ill as well. ZBA representative, he is ill as well.
Yep.
Board representative report, out sick. Chairperson's report, same thing. Planning commission member comments. Robert, it's good seeing you.
Good seeing you, yep. Thank you, everybody that came out.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody coming out. We do have public comments, so if anybody does have a comment or anything they want to talk about of anything that's not on the agenda, we're open for comment.
All right, you did say the 26th, is that when we're going to meet again, or will it?
26th of February is the next planning commission meeting.
Okay.
So the agenda will be posted on the township's website as well, and then again, notices will be sent out as they were for the last public hearing,
I
so.
do got a question. The guy.
Can you jump up to the podium for us?
Oh, really?
Or do this official?
I got it.
Yeah, come on. And then just state your name and address for the record, please.
Carla Sauget, 5764 Point Trimble, Algonac,
Alright.
Michigan. All right, just a quick question. The fellow that's trying to do the rezoning, I looked on your website, which, trust me, is not easy to maneuver. And I got down to finding all these documents. I could not find anywhere on there what he is trying to rezone it for. Should that not be public notice, so if we're coming in to do a rezoning, we know what they want to put there instead of being like, surprise!
Okay, so the way it works is the landowner or the property owner will come to the township, they'll come to planning commission, and they are asking for rezoning. At that time, all they're looking to do is change the zoning of that piece of property. They don't have anything, they don't show anything or planned of what they are wanting to do there. They may not even have a plan. They just want to rezone it to, I think it's believed C3.
Right.
And at that point, if they achieve their rezoning, then they would come back to the planning commission with a site plan of what they're looking to do. So that would be the point where they show what they're going to do. Right now, they're just looking for a rezoning. They're looking to go from one zoning to another.
If they come back, say they get it passed, and then they come back with their plan of what they're going to rezone or put there.
Yep.
Then do we also have a say of saying, whoa, we don't want a nuclear waste site there?
Yeah, so the site plan will come back to planning commission, and at that point, there's also review by planning commission, and there's a lot that goes into that, so.
So then it's not necessarily surprise, I'm going to put
No.
this here because I got it rezoned.
So if it gets rezoned, they would be allowed to put anything that is in
That zone, I got
that
that.
zone in there. But then there's special land uses on top of that. So you have, say they could put a restaurant in, right? So on top of that, on normal C3, if they wanted something else on top of that is a special land use, then that has to go through a whole another public hearing and everything else again.
Okay, say they wanted to put a restaurant, would that be a special land use, or is there another flavor I gotta look at for special land use?
I don't have my packet with me because I knew that, but there's if you go into the ordinances, there's a
Yes.
whole list of what they can put in under C3. I was putting restaurant out there. I don't even know if a restaurant can actually go into C3.
I don't either, but yeah, I've seen
So,
that.
I mean, that's, like I said, the ordinances, they have everything spelled out with what can go in there, what they actually have to do for site plans, for vegetation and everything else. That because they have certain limitations that are put onto them by the ordinances that say, hey, you have to have, like, say, a 10-foot strip of vegetation across here, and if there's residential, they might have to have a fence or a block wall put in between the two lots. So, I mean,
There's
that's
certain
all
things
spelled
that
out
you
in
do
the
not have to do.
ordinances.
So in other words, we got to stop this guy. Thank you.
Yeah, so that would be the next step, is a site plan if it got rezoned, so. That answer your question? You can jump up to the podium and... Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Cindy Pello. I'm at 3311 Fruit Street in Clay, 48001. Thanks for letting me piggyback on what you just pointed out. Sheila? Carla, sorry. You said the owner would request that, and my question is, what if it's a person leasing it, as in our case with our zoning request?
So it's the same thing. It would be
It
a
could be a
lease.
leaser of
Yep, a leaser
property?
or a potential buyer, because some pieces of property, the buyer may not want to buy the property if they can't be rezoned, so potential
Okay.
buyer could petition for that as well.
Okay, and then my last question is, does that leaser require the lease to be signed and done, or is it similar to a buyer where it can be conditional?
Great question for an attorney. I'm not positive on that, so.
Okay, and probably I'm not going to answer this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If that person's leasing, do they have to have this, like, the support of the owner? The endorsement, the concurrence of the owner for what they're using?
Great
that
question,
owner's-
Sue. I'm not sure how to answer that, but I would assume that the
All
owner
right,
would
well, I'll
want
be
that.
back on the 20.
26, we'll look forward to seeing you.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Come on up, sir.
My name is Leonard Kalustian. I live at 5667 Point Trumbull Road, directly across the street from the proposed area that you're looking at here. A couple questions. One is, you guys are on the planning board, correct?
Yep.
So, who does the master plan, and were you part of the master plan?
Yep.
Okay.
With the planning commission, goes through the process of the master plan, and then the master plan gets adopted by the township board. So the township board has the
Right.
ultimate adoption of
So
that.
technically, you guys are the gatekeepers of the township and basically the zoning.
We are, so the planning commission is a recommending board. So we don't make approvals, we recommend. So we recommend to the township board, they are the ones that make the decisions.
So how do you do it in good faith? How do you make these types of decisions of somebody just wanting to rezone land, just to rezone it without any thought or, to me, as being and I'm not speaking for your job, I'm just saying if I had your job, I'd certainly want to know everything before I'm just going to write and say, why not? There's no reason why you can't do it.
Sure. So the planning commission, we have a book of rules called the ordinance. So it's our obligation to look through the ordinances. And if a piece of property or a request meets all of the ordinances, legally meets everything that they're asking for, we would be in jeopardy of a lawsuit if we denied that based on our own personal opinion. I may have a piece of property next to me that I don't want to see a McDonald's, but if that piece of property met all zoning requirements, there's really nothing I can do. So for us,
This is round two.
so your question to us is, how do we make our decisions? We take the book of rules, we read all the rules. If I read all the rules in everything that this property is asking meets every one of the rules,
Right.
then it would be my recommendation to
In my
approve.
personal opinion, I don't think that those rules were met the last time this board pushed it through, and I'm just saying that.
Sure.
And that's going to be the same pushback you'll receive this time, and I'll get, you guys, I know you're the only two here.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how I feel, how a lot of other people feel. I've actually, in the past, I've collected every single signature of every single homeowner that surrounds this entire property, every one of them.
Yeah, and that's why we have public comments, so that the public is invited in and
I hired a
has their
lawyer last
comments
time,
heard.
And the other last question, and I'll be done here, is are there any new members on this board?
Define new, because we're looking for two.
Well.
So you said you would want to have one of our jobs, I got a seat for it.
Ready to make a change.
Right here. You can sit on that side or this side.
But from last year, this time, are there any new people seated at this?
Yes, there's one, I believe, one new board member from that time.
Okay, just one.
Yep, and then there's two openings currently, so.
Okay. I don't want to create a conflict of interest, so I'm going to decline, but thank you.
Yep, no problem, thank you. Anybody else? Come on up. Man, we got more action than I thought we were going to get.
I'm Jerry Pello, 3311 Fruit Street. Is wildlife considered, and you started to touch on this with the ordinances, is wildlife considered, when we do anything around here, is there consideration for the wildlife that does, where I happen to live, it's, and one of the benefits here of living here is you're not the country, but you're not the city.
Sure.
And we used to get wildlife in our yard until they expanded that storage unit on the other side of the Valentine residence. And it's the only commercial property, and it wasn't there when I moved in 8 years ago.
Yep.
Over 8 years ago. And now all of a sudden we have this commercial property, and we've lost 75% of the wildlife that came into our yard. They expand this even more, like they want to. I'm not gonna get anything, and that's one of the main reasons we moved out here. On top of which, when I purchased this house, never did I think that I'd have to worry about a commercial, a business butting up to my property. And now, according to this plan, that's exactly what's gonna happen here.
Yep. No, I understand your comments, for sure.
That is a comment, but my one question is wildlife considered?
For us, no.
Not in any of the ordinance you could give two shits.
No, well, I wouldn't say that. So, for us, it's looking at the ordinance and seeing what it is. And I know that piece of property you're talking about is a commercial piece of property. So we just have to look at what the ordinance says can be done within a commercial piece of property, again, like we talked about for things that are permitted, and then there are also special land use things, so.
So my next question is, if we can rezone, can you rezone a commercial property into a residential property? If I approached the owner and said, would I have to purchase this land before and then rezone?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I would
For-
lay money down that an accepted purchase offer is gonna trump a lease offer.
That's what-
Yeah, I mean, if you own the property, obviously, you can
But if
petition to
you're
have it
telling me
rezoned.
This is a commercial lot.
Yeah, currently,
That's
that's
totally
currently
unaware
commercially
of.
zoned.
Then my next step would be, which would be my own personal step, is to approach the landowner themselves.
Sure. Anybody else have public comment? Okay, then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. Meeting adjourned. See everybody on the 26th.